All right, I want to talk about section 1.11, mental math for addition and subtraction equations. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that we've been before, but we're going to introduce this new word and we're going to kind of investigate it. And this word is this one right here, equations. So just to remind us, we have been talking about expressions for a while. And an expression is a mathematical phrase with numbers, operations, and sometimes variables. And an example of that would be something like 3x plus 4, or even 12 times 6. Both of those are expressions. Now, we're going to compare that to this new idea we have in equations. Now, an equation is something different. Instead of a mathematical phrase, what color did I use, we have a mathematical sentence. Sentence. I can never remember how to spell that one. That says, oops, let me move this, that two phrases are equal. Equal is this key word, and these equations always have an equal sign. For example, they look like this. 2 plus 10 equals 6 plus 6. Or x plus 10 equals 12. Both of these are equations. This one doesn't have a variable, and this one does, but they both have equals sign. Now, with an expression, all that I can do is I can evaluate. Let's see if I have a little bit more space. A little tiny bit. I can evaluate expressions. That means I can simplify. And I can tell what it means after I work with it. For example, I can make 12 times 6 into whatever 12 times 6 is. Let me get my calculator. Which is 72. I just simplified that. Or if I have 3x times 2, I can simplify that as 6x. Now, an equation is different. I have my equal sign, but I can solve it. And solving is kind of what math is all about. Okay, let's take a look at some examples of some basic things we're going to solve today. We're going to solve using mental math. That means these ideas we can pretty much figure out in our head if we're familiar with our addition and subtraction facts, with which we probably should be by now if we're in 7th grade. Let's take a look at a quick example. What number plus 5 is equal to 12? Okay, what we need to do is we need to write out our equation. This is the minimum work, is write it out. Then solve. Okay, so my first step would be what number plus 5 is equal to 12? Well, excuse me, that would look like this. What number is going to be my x or my variable? I can use whatever letter I like. Plus 5 is equal to 12. Okay, written out. Well, this is pretty easy for me to solve. I know what x is in this case because I know that 7 plus 5 is going to be 12, so that I know that x is 7 in this case. And I can write that out, and that's all I need to do, and I'm done and good to go. Okay, if you feel like you get it, go ahead and go on. I'm going to do a couple more examples. Okay, let's take a look at this. Example 2. 6 minus y equals 4. Okay, that would be my first step, is I kind of wrote out my equation. My number 2 is I say, okay, 6 minus y is 4. Well, 6 minus 2 is equal to 4. So I can say with confidence that y is equal to 2 in this case. Not too bad. Let's take a look at one more. Example 3. X minus 3 is equal to 18. First thing I wrote out. Second step, x minus 3. What minus 3 is 18? Well, 21 minus 3 is 18. So I know that x is equal to 21. Makes sense? Go ahead and good luck.